Hey guys, let's draw some Christmas ornaments. I'm using the iPad Pro with the Procreate app. Now you don't need this to follow along. You can use a white sheet of paper, a black marker for outlines, and markers and crayons for coloring in. I occasionally may use a pencil to sketch first, so it's always handy to have that as well as an eraser. If you're new to Procreate, I also have a video called 25 Procreate Tips and Tricks, which is good to watch first because as I draw, I'll be using these actions. I will link that video below. All right, so here I am on my first layer, which I just named color. And then I'm gonna grab a round brush and I'm gonna draw a circle. So we're gonna hold that and tap anywhere on the screen and you get a perfect circle. Just gonna fill that. And now I'm gonna create another layer. This is just for the top part of the ornament. We're gonna use the same color. So let's draw a line to close and we're gonna hold it so that becomes not a straight line, but a nice and smooth line. And I'm gonna close down over here and we're gonna fill that. So right now I have two layers, just that top part and the circle. So let's create another layer and then let's select a gold color. So this is the top part of the ornament. So let's go back to the circle layer down here and we're gonna select that color. So just hold your finger anywhere on the green and it'll pop up in your color palette. So let's select a darker shade of that. What we gotta do next is just enable alpha lock. So click on this and hit alpha lock. And you can see these little transparent squares in the back, which just means that anytime I place color over the circle, it's gonna stay within the circle. All right, so let's grab an airbrush and let's begin by shading. So let's select our light source. Our light source is gonna be head on. So let's pretend our light source is right there. And we're gonna shade kind of everything around that. And I'm just putting really light pressure and kind of building it up as we go along. And the harder you push, the darker the color will show up. You can also go just a tad darker. All right, next we're gonna grab the same color in the middle, that initial green we had, and then we're gonna select a lighter shade, and this will be our highlight. Okay, I'm gonna grab a white, almost a white, but not really. And this will be super highlights. And this will make it really pop. And then next, I'm gonna grab this blending brush. Just make sure that it's on a soft brush or an airbrush brush. And then we're just gonna blend this all together. really lightly. All right, so moving on. Actually, I'm gonna put this middle layer here, I'm gonna put this underneath the circle. And I'm just gonna move this gold part just a little bit higher. Okay, so we're gonna shade this part. Let me just fix up here. Again, we're gonna enable alpha lock on this layer as well. So click the layer, hit alpha lock, and I'm gonna select a darker shade again. And then let's put some highlights. And then just going back to the circle, I just want to make this really dark over here. And then we're going to do the same thing for this gold part. Don't forget to enable the alpha lock. So I just want to put an effect on this gold part here. So I'm just going to see what brushes we have that can give it a little texture. Okay, let's see how the water texture works. All right, I think I'm okay with that. All right, last we're gonna create a new layer, and we're just gonna do a little round circle, I guess, for the chain. Then I'm just gonna erase this bottom part. All right, so far so good. All right, now it's time to decorate the ornament. So let's select this gold again. I'm just gonna grab any color in there, and here you could do literally whatever you want. So I'm just gonna create a new layer above the circle. So I'm just gonna start drawing. Just keep in mind you're going in the shape of the circle. I'm just going to draw over that, and then I will erase it. So I'm just drawing these branches, and then I'm going to draw the petals in white. So before I do the petals, I just want to see if one of these glitter techniques is going to work. So let me turn on alpha lock on these branches. And then I'm gonna go grab a glitter brush. This time I'm gonna grab just a darker shade of that. And then I'm just gonna color this in. And I will link that glitter brush below. All right, cool. So now we're gonna start another layer. And this time we're gonna grab a white, and I'm gonna go back into my round brush. All right, so next let's give it a little bit more dimension. We're gonna go back to this layer here, which is the branches. We're gonna duplicate that. So let's go to the one underneath that one, and we're gonna make it dark. So let's go into the adjustments tool, hue, saturation, brightness, and we're gonna bring that all the way down to none. And then we're just gonna move it slightly to give it a 3D effect. And then we're also gonna blur it, but we gotta take off the alpha lock. So click on that, uncheck alpha lock, go into the adjustments, blur. And I wanna decrease that opacity just a little bit. So it kind of gives the ornament just a little bit of texture and depth. So let's go back into the circle layer, which is the ornament itself. I'm gonna grab this dark green again, and we're gonna try to use the glitter on this and see how that looks. So I'm just gonna go into that glitter brush, and I'm gonna make the maximum size just a bit bigger. So we're also gonna bring the opacity just maybe to 60%. And I'm lightly doing this because you don't want to get rid of the shadows. You just want just a little bit of an overlay of glitter. And I'm going to bring the opacity back up. I'm going to decrease that brush size, and we can just do some glitter highlights. And last but not least, we're going to merge everything together. And a quick way to do that is just to swipe right on each layer, hit group, and then just flatten. And let's take off the alpha lock. We're gonna duplicate this. We're gonna go to the layer at the bottom, go back to hue, saturation, brightness. We're gonna bring that down. So let me just uncheck that layer so you can see we're left with a black ornament. We're gonna click on the arrow up here. We're gonna hit distort, and we're gonna create a shadow, just like that. Go back into the adjustments tool, hit blur, and then let's turn on that layer back again. And I just want to decrease that opacity and then just move it down a little bit. All right, guys, so there is your Christmas ornament. Now, if you want to change the color of this ornament, I'm gonna go and undo everything I've just done right before we merged all those layers. All right, so here we are. Now, if you don't like this green, we can just duplicate that layer. We'll uncheck the first one, and let's go into our adjustments tool, color balance, and you can play around with the colors. So that's how you would change the color. And of course, you got to make sure it matches with gold, but anything really matches with gold. You can also even change the gold color. So let's say I'm gonna just stick with this blue. That looks all right too. But I'm gonna go into my gold layer, go back into my adjustments tool, and I can change this as well. So there's lots to play with. And there you go, guys. Hope you enjoyed this video. To get notified of more new videos where I teach you to draw, be sure to subscribe to Draw with Marina.